It's August 1941, Casino Estoril, Portugal. A Serbian playboy sits down at a baccarat table. He casually pulls out about $50,000 in cash, and he proceeds to absolutely humiliate the stranger sitting across the table from him. He does this without losing a single hand. Standing a few feet away is a British naval intelligence officer named Ian Fleming. 12 years later, Ian Fleming will go on to write his first novel. This book will be called Casino Royale. I'm super excited for today's video. I am a huge James Bond fan. I'm totally geeking out right now. But this is also a pretty cool story about the real man who inspired the fictional character of James Bond. And while I tell you this story, I'm going to be cooking scrambled eggs James Bond style, which is an actual recipe that Ian Fleming wrote up himself and included in one of his short stories. I've scaled this recipe down from 4 servings to 2 because this recipe calls for 12 eggs and a crap ton of butter. And I'm not confident that my cholesterol levels can survive this. So we're going down to 6 eggs and slightly less butter. It is theorized that the inspiration for James Bond came from a man named Dušan Popov. Popov was born in 1912 in what is now Serbia, into an extremely wealthy family. He studied law in Belgrade and Germany, where he made a close friend named Johan Jebsen. Jebsen worked for German military intelligence, and in 1940, Jebsen recruited Popov to spy for the Germans. But there was just one problem. Popov hated the Nazis. Being the ardent anti-Nazi that he was, Popov approached British intelligence and offered to work for them as a double agent. MI6 recruited him and gave him the codename Tricycle. To the Germans, he was Ivan. To the Yugoslavs, he was still Dušan Duško Popov. And for the next several years, he fed the Germans a thorough mixture of real and not so real information. All approved by British intelligence, of course. And Popov quietly funneled German money and secrets over to London. In August 1941, the Germans sent Popov to the United States. Included in his mission assignment was an intelligence questionnaire with a set of extremely specific intelligence requests about American military installations. Funny enough, a good chunk of those questions focused on Pearl Harbor. Popov brought the questionnaire directly to the FBI, but FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover didn't trust him. Hoover was reportedly put off by Popov's playboy lifestyle and threatened to have him arrested. Popov's warning was effectively ignored, which was too bad for the Americans, because Popov clearly sensed that something big was cooking. 4 months later, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. Weeks before traveling to the United States, Popov was in Lisbon, Portugal, as part of the British operation codename Midas. Operation Midas was an elaborate laundering scheme designed to take money from the Germans and transfer it to the British. But of course, Popov, he was a work hard, play hard type of man. One night, while carrying a large sum of German money, Popov walked into the Casino Estoril and sat down at a baccarat table. Sitting across from Popov was a wealthy gambler named Block. Popov bet big, and Block, well, he tried to keep up, but he lost. Badly. And watching from nearby was Ian Fleming. Fleming would go on to recreate that exact scene in his first novel, changing almost nothing except for the names of those involved. Now, so far, it would seem that Popov had already accomplished quite a bit. I mean,
I think we can safely say that we're all very impressed.
But Popov's most important work came later, in the lead-up to D-Day. As part of the Double Cross system, which was a British operation that turned nearly every German spy in Britain into a double agent, Popov helped feed the Germans false information about the Allied invasion of Europe.
The deception worked. German forces were kept divided, as they were expecting an attack at Calais instead of Normandy. Popov spent the rest of the war moving between identities, cultivating relationships, and gathering intelligence, all while maintaining the appearance of a wealthy, apolitical socialite.
After the war, Popov faded from public life, until a 1972 book on Britain's wartime double agents brought his story public. In 1974, he published his own memoir, Spy/Counterspy.
If I don't make it through this, tell the world my story. 00 good. By then, people were already asking the obvious question. Ian Fleming never publicly confirmed that Popov was the direct inspiration for James Bond.
But the details line up almost exactly. The casino, the money, the baccarat game, the British intelligence officer watching from the sidelines. I think the takeaway from Popov's story is, in the high-stakes world of international espionage, if your opponent underestimates you, bet big.